Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, and you are watching the Takeover either on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel or you're watching it on Roku via the BS3 Network. If you have Roku and you don't have BS3, download it. Download the app. Download BS3. Or you can watch the show via BS3Network.com or BS3TVLive.com. A lot of info I want to share with you these next few minutes, maybe 55 minutes. Who knows if I get that far? Who knows? But this edition of the Takeover will be, as usual, info-packed. But first things first, scan that QR code if you are not yet a member of the Houston Roundball Review YouTube members only section. And also, I want to acknowledge and thank for the support, the diehards, the ride or dies, supporters, sponsors of the Houston Roundball Review with their listing in the online business directory. The African Center of Wellbeing, Bayou Beat, Be Elite Basketball, Byron Riley CPA, the Pinto Leon Law Firm, Pruitt's in the Heights, Star Pizza, Tejas Brewery, United Sports and Entertainment, VIP Realty, and the Saxenian family. Thank you to all of them, and I'll share later on the show how you can join them. Just email me, advertise@thehrr.com, and get a listing in the directory. And also you can advertise on this show and a few of the other live stream shows available as part of the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. Like this show, like the AdMax Corner, like Let's Talk Rockets, like Folks Talking Sports. Many of these shows stream on YouTube. I'm slowly figuring out how to stream the shows on TikTok, but Facebook as well, different platforms online to get your product and your name out there, in addition to supporting this great Houston Roundball Review Media Group. I'm going to share some news regarding a Houston Cougar alum, because I am a Houston Cougar alum. He is a recent graduate of the University of Houston. He is now a member of the Golden State Warriors. Rockets fans, hide your eyes, cover your ears. But yes, this young man, I want to talk about LJ Cryer, and he's in the news. First things first, he signed an Exhibit 10 deal with the Warriors, and that is this. Monday, the 29th, the Golden State Warriors signed Houston Cougars guard and alum LJ Cryer. The deal is an Exhibit 10 contract. An NBA Exhibit 10 contract is a 1-year, non-guaranteed minimum, in LJ's case as a rookie, this year worth $1.272 million. That salary deal that allows teams to sign players to compete in training camp and Summer League, which he did, without affecting the Warriors' cap. These contracts can become a standard minimum deal, be converted into a two-way contract, or include a bonus up to $85,300 for the 25-26 season if LJ spends at least 60 days with the team's G League affiliate, in the Warriors' case, that is the Santa Cruz Warriors, and after being waived. And that's probably going to happen. He's already with I'll get into that specifically momentarily. The agreement serves as a way for teams to evaluate talent and retain G League rights to these players. Exhibit 10 contracts do not count against a team's salary cap during the offseason. However, they would begin to count against the cap if a team decides to keep a player on an Exhibit 10 contract into the regular season, essentially converting his deal to a standard 1-year minimum salary deal. a team cannot carry more than 6 Exhibit 10 contracts at a time. An Exhibit 10 contract can only be converted to a two-way deal before the regular season begins. So in the Warriors' case, it's roughly 3 weeks. The deadline is the day before the regular season opener. Get back to some comments from LJ momentarily. I referenced two-way contracts there also. Teams can have a maximum of 3 two-way contracts on their roster. The Golden State Warriors currently have the maximum allotted 3 two-way players. LJ is not one of those two-way players. There's a chance if he plays well in training camp, does a good job in practice, etc., that one of those 3 players could be waived, could be bumped, and LJ has his contract converted to a two-way contract. Two-way contracts are roughly, players can play up to 50 games in the NBA in a regular season, going back and forth between the G League and the NBA. So they can play a maximum of 50 NBA games in the season. So it's possible that LJ Cryer will get some time in the NBA if his contract is converted to a two-way deal. So think about that when you hear LJ's comments when he was asked at Warriors Media Day on Monday, September 29th, about the contract he signed. Take a listen.
How did it feel to sign that NBA contract?
I mean, it felt pretty good. Obviously, there's more work to do, but it's something that you dream of. Just getting to this point, yes, it's definitely special.
What has your off season looked at like? What have you been working on with your game this summer?
I mean, it's been a lot of conditioning. I've been up here for a little while now, so just been playing with the guys and just trying to get acclimated on what they like to do here. In college, I played at a slower pace because I went to Houston, more of a defensive school. So just getting adjusted to the pace that you have to play with here has been the main thing. So just getting in shape and getting my body prepared for what's to come has been the main thing.
Hi, LJ. Ron Krejcik from the San Francisco Chronicle. You said you're used to a slower pace. How would you describe the pace with Steph on the court? I imagine it's a different world.
Nah, it's definitely a different pace. I've only got to practice with him one time. He popped in there one day and scrimmaged with us, but he doesn't stop moving without the ball. So just being able to see that has helped me because I feel like I'm a visual learner. So just getting out there and watching him do what he does, I feel like I could kind of implement that in my game. But you got to, like I said, you have to be in great shape to be able to do that. So that's something I've been working on a lot.
There you have it. Some comments from LJ Cryer at Golden State's Media Day. Signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Warriors. Salute to the Warriors media staff, PR staff, one of, if not the best PR staff in the entire NBA. They've been awarded best PR staff numerous times the last few years. Salute to them, and kudos to them for making LJ Cryer available to the media. I mean, LJ Cryer, rookie, undrafted rookie, taking questions about signing an Exhibit 10 contract, honestly. So salute to the Warriors and PR staff for doing that. Good luck to LJ. Teammate, Cougar alum, JVA Francis. I think he signed, then was waived roughly in the same day on Monday within a matter of hours. I think Jay will probably end up on the Warriors G League roster of the Santa Cruz Warriors, but he's not going to, I don't believe he's signed. He has not been listed, let's put it like that, specifically, as signing an Exhibit 10 contract. Does that mean he won't be on the Santa Cruz Warriors G League team? But he just has been not listed on NBA.com, the Warriors pages, transactions page, anything of that sort. He's not on the Warriors roster. LJ Cryer is listed on the Warriors roster. Go to Spot Track. He is listed on there. But good luck to LJ. As he said, there's still more work to do. And he's going to grind. He had some back tightness, back spasms this summer, which the Warriors shut him down toward the end of summer league. So he rehabbed and got that taken care of, hopefully. So he's gotten stronger and getting himself ready for an NBA career, starting out with the G League. So good luck to LJ Cryer. Speaking of the NBA, as I shift gears very quickly, Rockets had Media Day also on Monday, the 29th, as I think 25 NBA teams, 24, 25. The other 5 teams had Media Day last week because they are competing internationally. During the Rockets Media Day, Rockets head coach Ime Udoka was asked his comments or his thoughts on why he believes Reed Sheppard, second-year guard Reed Sheppard, will have a successful season and a successful NBA career, especially now with Fred VanVleet out for the majority, if not the entire 25-26 NBA season. Reed's going to get a lot of minutes and a lot of time, chances, and opportunities to shine, to succeed, to excel. Here are some comments from Rockets head coach Ime Udoka about Reed Sheppard.
The work he's put in, you've seen the confidence grow, throughout the season. He had his moments, and you've seen the big games when he did get opportunity when a lot of guys sat. So the talent is there. It was just a little bit of confidence and second guessing at times, and the physicality of the game on both ends, affected him at times. And so a lot of times you take that leap between year 1 and year 2, the work he's put in and what he's shown in the offseason already. He's taken a nice jump. And so, like I said, regardless of the Fred situation, he was going to get more opportunity this year. And the skill set and the things that he brings are going to be needed. They complement our guys very well. And so with opportunity, more often than not, guys will step up to the plate. And I think he's shown that. He's very competitive in the shot selections and the passing ability and all those things. And like I said, he's really worked hard on his defense and his body and physicality to take on that challenge.
There you go. One of my issues, I think Reed's biggest issues as in his rookie season was his lack of confidence. He passed up shots. He's known for shooting, his shooting skills. And Reed Sheppard passed up too many shots. He let one miss lead to 2 misses and 3 misses. As a rookie, majority of rookies their bodies are not physically ready for the NBA. That's expected. So the physicality part, not being strong enough, working on that this offseason, he did that part. But the lack of confidence as a shooter, shoot. That was the biggest concern last year. Reed said he's confident, he's got more confidence now. He'll have plenty of time to show that confidence, that new confidence or that improved confidence this season with the Rockets. Let me know as you're watching the Takeover, how confident are you in Reed Sheppard shining, excelling this season for the Rockets with Kevin Durant, Amen Thompson, Alpi Shingun, Jabari, and his other teammates. Reed Sheppard, how confident are you that Reed Sheppard is going to be an X factor in a good way for the Rockets for the 2025-26 NBA season? Next, some Cougs football news in a different sense, because we got a big game this Saturday evening, 6 o'clock, ESPN. But of course, as a Coug fan, if you have the means, if you have the time and the opportunity, you are going to be at TDECU Stadium to watch the Cougs and cheer on the Cougs in person as they face 11th ranked Texas Tech. You're going to be at the stadium. You're not going to be at home or at a sports bar or at a friend's house watching the game on the telly. You're going to be at the stadium. The game is going to be sold out if it's not already sold out. It's going to be a lot of Tech fans there. No shame there. They got a great team going this season. They're spending their money, but I still hope the stadium is full, let's say 75 to 80% Coug fans. It's a Houston Blue game for the Cougs. So wear your Houston Blue, wear your Cougar Red, wear both, whatever. But be at TDECU Stadium this Saturday, October 4th, to cheer on the Cougs as they do battle with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. But the news off the field, but based on what his performance in last Friday's come from behind win over Oregon State, Sione Fotu, yes, linebacker, was named Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Week. He earned his first career Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Week honors after posting 15 tackles, including 7 solo stops against Oregon State on Friday night, the Big 12 announced on Monday. Fotu set a new career high with the 15 stops, the most in the Big 12 in Week 5, and second most by a Big 12 player this season. The mark was the most by a Cougar since A.J. Halsey also tallied 15 against West Virginia on October 12th, 2023. The Salt Lake City native earned 11 of his tackles in the second half and one in overtime, a key stop on second down to hold Oregon State a yard short of the line to gain. Fotu is Houston's second Big 12 Player of the Week this season, joining Ethan Sanchez, who picked up Special Teams Player of the Week honors after kicking 5 field goals against Colorado. The selection also marks the first time Houston has earned Conference Player of the Week honors in consecutive weeks, excluding buys since, and here's some irony, since Matthew Golden and Parker Jenkins, both transferred from the program, picked up Special Teams and Newcomer Player of the Week honors on September 18th and 25th in 2023, respectively. So once again, Sione Fotu named Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Another weekly honor. This time we're going to Rice Volleyball. Taylor Preston named Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Rice senior outside hitter Taylor Preston was named the American Conference Offensive Player of the Week on Monday. Preston led the Owls to a 1-1 weekend, playing 10 sets over 2 matches. That's 5 sets both times, max. Rice fell to Temple in 5 sets on Friday, but bounced back to reverse sweep Tulsa. So they lost the first 2 sets, then won the next 3 on Sunday. Preston hit 300 over the 2 matches. She totaled 52 kills on the weekend, including a season-high 27 against Temple, where she recorded her first double-double of the season with 13 digs. She also added 5 blocks in the match. Preston followed with 25 kills against Tulsa and finished the weekend with 58.5 total points, helping the Owls secure their first conference win of the season. Through 13 matches, Preston leads the team with 4.17 kills per set. She ranks 5th in the conference in both kills per set and points per set. Rice, 5-8 overall because they played a challenging non-conference schedule, 1-1 in the American, will travel to UAB on Friday for its first conference road match of the season. So good luck to the Rice Owls, head coach Jenny Volpe, and squad. So far on today's edition of Takeover, touched on some NBA Cougar alum LJ Cryer. Heard from Ime Udoka. Coog defense, Player of the Week honors. Rice Volleyball, Player of the Week honors. not many other shows like the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. We'll discuss all of that. And we're just barely 20 minutes into the show. And I'm not done. I am not done on today's edition of the Takeover. Now we're going to go into some... No. I'm going to see if I can do this. Shifting gears. Going from a little bouncing around, but I had a thought. I had it ready. It's been discussed. Hopefully you have not been living under a rock the last couple of days, to not hear, not see, not hear about, not been told, not have an opinion on what WNBA All-Star, Minnesota Lynx All-World Napheesa Collier said regarding the WNBA leadership, and specifically and pointedly about WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Napheesa summed it up as the WNBA has the worst leadership in the world. So I'm not going to get into Fee's comments from Tuesday. Going to get into an article by Tom Friend from the Sports Business Journal, who posted on Tuesday, lo and behold, that Cathy Engelbert is not long for the job as WNBA Commissioner. Well before Napheesa Collier said yesterday the WNBA had, quote, the worst leadership in the world, end quote, multiple sources had told Sports Business Journal that Cathy Engelbert would likely exit as commissioner sometime after the current CBA negotiations due to pressure inside NBA and WNBA circles. The sources said Engelbert's presumed departure 6 years after arriving from Deloitte is relationship driven, tied to the way she has dealt with colleagues and players amid unprecedented growth within the league. Wednesday's comments from an influential player such as Collier presumably won't help Engelbert's already unstable public standing and most likely exacerbated it. Bigly. A WNBA spokesman said the source's comments were, quote, categorically false, end quote. Engelbert was unavailable for comment. Whether Collier's statements cement Engelbert's departure is unclear, and sources said her exit is not imminent and that it is possible she could decide to leave on her own. That's how they'll phrase it. Sources also said any move by Engelbert would be unrelated to the league's present CBA standoff with the players' union. Although insiders believe there has been chronic distrust between Engelbert and her constituency since a September 2024 interview on CNBC, in which she failed to denounce hate speech directed at players on social media. She instead pointed to the popularity of rivalries, later apologizing to the players in a group letter. Quote, she's not a people person, said another source familiar with Engelbert. That's not who she is. It has been an issue before these CBA negotiations, end quote. So, according to Tom Friend from the Sports Business Journal, Cathy Engelbert, her seat was already warm before Nafisa Collier put a blowtorch to it with her prepared statement and what she said. So don't be shocked. They can word it how the league, the NBA can word it that Cathy Engelbert, first things first, the players, the union, and ownership, WNBA ownership, have to reach an agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement. The deadline is Halloween this month, October 31st. I don't believe they're going to reach an agreement by the end of the month. They are scheduled to meet on October 9th. And maybe the closer they get to the 31st, the tenor of discussions and negotiations will improve and something will be agreed upon, even if it's just to push the deadline, to extend the deadline. But I'll say this. The second season of Unrivaled starts January 5th. It would behoove, in my opinion, the WNBA, you got an expansion draft you need to have done too, to have a new agreement reached before Unrivaled season begins. Because the money, the salaries in Unrivaled average higher than WNBA salaries. Nafisa Collier is part of the organization, foundation of Unrivaled. Hell, her husband is the founder of the league. It would be really bad press if throughout the Unrivaled season, second season, which is about 2 months long, if over and over media says, because the league press will follow Unrivaled for at least the first couple of weeks because of Nafisa Collier being in the league and her comments about Cathy Engelbert and WNBA leadership. So negative press, WNBA cannot really, I won't say afford, but in this case, all good press, all press is not good press. So it would behoove the league and the players, and players have some leverage because 45 players have signed up for year 2 in Unrivaled. You can go to the Houston Roundball Reviews Women's Hoops blog and see the list of players. And salute to them. Yes, I am on Unrivaled's media list. Little old Houston Roundball Review. Been doing this 30 years. On that list, yes. So you can go to the Women's Hoops blog, and while you're there, you can see the schedule for the 2025 WNBA Finals between the Las Vegas Aces, the 2 seed, and the 4 seed Phoenix Mercury. Game 1 is this Friday. Bottom of the hour on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break on Throwback Thursday, powered by JM&E, streaming on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. It's time for me to show you what BS3 TV is all about. Be back in 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review, Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and on Roku via the BS3 Network. I'm, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. If you have Roku and you don't have BS3, download the app. Download it. Get it now. Get it now. Or you can go ahead and do what some folks still do. Watch the show via BS3TVLive.com or BS3Network.com. Before the break, discuss some WNBA news, some Unrivaled news. Second season for Unrivaled starts on January 5th. While I'm in the women's basketball mode, a little bit of women's college basketball news. The Division I Women's Basketball Committee on Monday voted to change to a larger venue for the 2028 Women's Final Four, moving the event to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The committee also voted to continue with the current preliminary round format through the 2031 championship. I hate that. Anyway, Women's Final Four continues to sell out. Hear that? The Women's Final Four continues to sell out, and the public demand for tickets has steadily increased. With the move from Gainbridge Fieldhouse to Lucas Oil Stadium, the event will gain approximately 13,000 seats to, I think, total capacity be about 31,000, I think. The 2028 Women's Final Four weekend in Indianapolis will also include the Division II and III championships. In the current format, first 4 games and the first and second rounds are hosted at 16 non-predetermined campus sites. The goal of using the top seeds as hosts was to increase fan attendance and engagement during early tournament rounds. This model has been effective, as the last 3 tournaments have recorded the 3 highest attendance figures for the first and second rounds in championship history. Additionally, a survey was sent to the Division I membership, including athletic directors, conferences, and coaches about the first and second rounds, and 85% of respondents supported the current non-predetermined top 16 format for at least the next few years. The current regional round format, this one I don't like, with competition at 2 sites, was first used in 2023. And in the 3 past championships, the attendance numbers are the highest in tournament history. The highest attendance figure for the regional rounds with the 4-site model was 73,954. Last year's attendance totaled 84,754, which is a 14.6% increase over that figure. With the success of the 2-site model, the committee has recently seen larger markets bid to be regional site hosts. Those cities have cited the greater economic impact of hosting 8 teams over 4 days of competition and the large influx of fans as motivating factors to host. The size and variety of these cities will result in higher quality hotel and arena experiences and potentially provide opportunities for the committee to assign regionals in geographic proximity to the women's Final Four sites. So let me say this. If you're new to this show, if you're new to me in the Houston Roundball Review, quick backstory before I get into football for the final minutes of today's show. I have been part of 2 of the 3 efforts to get a women's Final Four to Houston. I was not involved as much as I probably should have been, especially according to someone close to the NCAA committee, on those bids. The bids failed. The committee did not choose Houston as a host for the women's Final Four, even though Houston has been chosen to host the men's Final Four 3 times. But anyhow, and even though the location for the women's Final Four, previous bids, was Toyota Center, downtown Houston, with 2 large hotel chains and the convention center within walking distance of Toyota Center. Probably the closest proximity of any of the majority of cities awarded to host women's Final Fours. Maybe except for Tampa, maybe, and Indy, maybe. Houston's got everything within walking distance, everything. Hotel, arena, the venue, convention center, all of that. Still wasn't picked. Perhaps, although unlikely, with the regional 2-site format and having 8 teams here in a regional site over 4 days, maybe the people in charge of the bidding process in Houston will decide to go this route to host a regional. Perhaps, I doubt it, because I gave them it on a silver platter to do this a few years ago, and they declined. The 2026 regional, one of the 2 sites in 2026, will be Fort Worth, Queen Wanda Polk at Dickies Arena. Fort Worth in Texas. You know that. Houston is in Texas. You just stop letting women's basketball go to every other venue in Texas, but not Houston. But I digress. That's how I feel. I love women's basketball. In a perfect world, I'd be in a city, or I'll move to a city that appreciates what I do for women's basketball in terms of coverage. And hopefully that'll happen one day, because it ain't gonna happen here, apparently. But anyhow, Big 12 football, Big 12 news regarding football. In the know. Wednesday, this one. I'm still surprised on this one, especially the ending of it. Big 12 expands global footprint with football game in London in 2026. Wednesday, the Big 12 Conference announced that Arizona State and Kansas will square off in the first ever Union Jack Classic, and that'll be the only time I say it throughout this release, because they're not paying me, at London's iconic Wembley Stadium on Saturday, September 19th, 2026. Quote from Commissioner Brett Yormark: "I'm thrilled that Big 12 football will be heading to London for the first ever college football game at Wembley Stadium. I have often said my goal is for the Big 12 to be the most globally relevant conference in college athletics. Expanding our international presence will elevate our brand, create new opportunities for student assets, and open the door to meaningful commercial growth for the league." End quote. The Classic will be the third Big 12 football game in 2 seasons played in Europe, which began with Iowa State's and K-State's 2025 season opener in Dublin, Ireland. TCU will face North Carolina in the same event to open the 2026 season. The game will take place, the Arizona State-Kansas game, will take place during week 3 of the 2026 season. Kansas will be designated home team for the conference matchup between the two schools. Tickets will go on pre-sale, beginning on Monday, October 6th, with general sales on Thursday, October 9th, and available through kuathletics.com, sundevils.com, and that other sponsor.com. More news from Big 12. On Monday, Big 12 partners with Rally House and New Era Cap. Same thing with them. We're saying their names through this press release because they're not paying me or the Houston Roundball Review. To expand apparel and championship merchandise offerings. Monday, the Big 12 Conference announced 2 new partnerships as part of its continued efforts to grow its merchandise and e-commerce presence, teaming up with those folks to enhance the league's retail and championship apparel offerings. That house will serve as the official e-commerce platform and official brick and mortar fan shop of the Big 12 Conference. Big 12 merchandise will be available across its 300 locations in 26 states, many within the conference's footprint, while also serving as activation sites for future Big 12 commercial partnerships and ticketing initiatives. The other partner will become the official championship headwear and apparel partner of the Big 12, with its branding featured across all Big 12 championships, including LED signage, Big 12 Studios content, and Big 12 Radio on TuneIn. Additionally, as a league sponsor, that apparel partner will be the presenting partner of the 2025 Big 12 Basketball Media Days, of which I am planning to be attending in 3 weeks in Kansas City. These partnerships mark the latest step in the Big 12's broader strategy to expand its brand reach, drive fan engagement, and elevate the championship experience across all sports. Schedule for this week, week 6 in Big 12 football. Friday, October 3rd, West Virginia at BYU on ESPN. BYU should roll. Kickoff 9:30 Central. Saturday, October 4th. First up, first 2 games at 11 o'clock a.m. on ESPN2. Iowa State at Cincinnati. Cyclones are going to be without their 2 starting defensive backs who suffered season-ending injuries the last few days. Last weekend's game. Coach Campbell announced that. Next, and the Bearcats coming off a road win over Kansas. Of course, Kansas defense, well, whatever. Next game, Kansas State at Baylor, ESPN Plus, 11 o'clock Central. Oklahoma State at Arizona on TNT, 2 p.m. The big one that all Coug fans and Tech fans care about. Texas Tech at Houston on ESPN, 6 p.m. Central. Colorado at TCU on Fox at 6:30. And Kansas at UCF in the Bounce House on ESPN2, also 6:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. Week 5 results, a little recap of the scores. Friday, September 26th, Arizona State with a come from behind win over TCU, 27-24. The Cougs come from behind win over Oregon State, 27-24. Cincinnati, as I stated, got rid of that time central there, messed on that part. 37-34 over Kansas. K-State, best performance by the Wildcats so far this season, 34-20 over UCF. Utah, 48. West Virginia, 14. Baylor, 45. Oklahoma State, 27. Iowa State, 39. Arizona, 14. And rounding out the scores, BYU 24, Colorado 21. American news. As I speed up and close out these closing moments of this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. Available on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Scan that QR code. And of course, on Roku via the BS3 Network. Reminder, as I'll play throughout football season, as I'll say throughout football season, the Big 12 Conference will publicly provide player availability reports for all conference games this season at big12sports.com/FB reporting, beginning 3 days prior to kickoff. BYU, Houston, Iowa State, and Texas Tech give the Big 12 4 teams with 4-0 starts to the season for the first time since 2015. The Big 12 has 4 of the 20 undefeated FBS programs entering Week 6, tied for the second most of any conference. BYU and Iowa State are 2 of 9 FBS teams with active win streaks of 6 or more victories. The Big 12 had 3 conference games decided by 3 or fewer points in Week 5, one shy of its single-week record of 4 in Week 10 of the 2023 season. Arizona State's 8 consecutive wins over Big 12 opponents, including the 2024 Big 12 Football Championship, mark the longest such streak among all Power 4 programs. Big 12 defenses have tallied 46 interceptions this season, which are the most of any FBS conference. The Big 12 QB Club, 5 Big 12 signal callers rank in the top 20 in FBS in passing touchdowns, which ties for the most of any conference. Baylor's Sawyer Robertson is first. KU's Jalen Daniels is tied for second. Utah's Devin Dampier, TCU's Josh Hoover, and Tech's Baron Morton are all tied for ninth. All 5 of those QBs have combined to throw 66 touchdowns. Utah's John Henry Daly's 6.5 sacks lead the nation and are 1.5 sacks more than second place. I knew I forgot something, but there you go right there. Now, wrap it up, but that segment was Big 12 football. Oh, well, I'm still learning the new platform here. But next, American Conference football on today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Week 6 scheduled on the docket. October 3rd, Charlotte at South Florida, ESPN 2, 6 o'clock Central. Saturday, October 4th, Air Force at Navy on CBS, 11 o'clock a.m. Army at UAB on ESPN-U, also 11 a.m. UTSA at Temple on ESPN Plus at noon. Florida Atlantic at Rice. I believe that's the Battle of the Owls on ESPN Plus at Rice Stadium, 6 o'clock. No comment on why they scheduled that game at the same time as the Coogs Texas Tech. But anyhow, Tulsa at Memphis, ESPN-U, 7 o'clock. Teams that are off in the American, East Carolina, North Texas, and Tulane. Week 5 results last Thursday on the 25th of September. East Carolina 28-6 over Army. Saturday, 27th. North Texas 36, South Alabama 22. Navy 21-13 over Rice. Tulane 31-14 over Tulsa. Remember, Tulsa beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater the week before, 19-12. And then last but not least, Memphis 55, Florida Atlantic 26. I think that's 9 straight wins for Memphis. Week 6 notes The American will have 3 unbeaten teams heading into week 6 of the season. Memphis and North Texas are both 5-0, while Navy is 4-0. Memphis and North Texas are 2 of the nation's 9 5-0 teams, along with Ole Miss, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Iowa State, Oregon, Georgia Tech, and Indiana. The only FBS conferences with multiple unbeaten teams are the American, the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC. 10 of the Americans' 14 teams are at 500 or better through 5 weeks of this season. Memphis extended the nation's longest active winning streak to 9 games with its 55-26 victory at Florida Atlantic. Memphis surpassed 20 points for the 45th consecutive game, extending the longest active streak in that category. North Texas improved to 5-0 for the first time since 1959 with its 36-22 win against South Alabama. Navy has started 4-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 1978 and 1979. Navy has won 75 consecutive home games when leading after 3 quarters, the longest active streak nationally. The midshipmen have gone 30 for 30 in red zone scoring since the start of the 2024 season. 27 touchdowns, 3 field goals. Tulane has gone 17-3 in its last 20 road games. The 17 road wins since the start of 2022 are the most in the nation. Now, last but not least, SWAC football. Let me get this right. I believe I have it ready. Yes, I do. SWAC football. Week 6 schedule. Saturday, Bethune-Cookman at Alabama State on SWAC TV, 2 o'clock Central. Florida A&M at Mississippi Valley State, also SWAC TV, also 2 o'clock Central. Prairie View at Alcorn State, SWAC TV, and I think Alcorn is winless, 3 o'clock Central. Jackson State at Alabama A&M on HBCU Go, 5 o'clock Central. And then Arkansas Pine Bluff here in town against TSU, SWAC TV. That game is at 6 o'clock. 3 H-Town college football teams within 10 miles of each other are playing football at the same damn time. Why? I know alums are different, but they're still football fans. Oh, nothing. Week 5 results, scores from last weekend. Bethune-Cookman 41-34 over Alabama A&M. Alabama State, blowout win at FAMU 42-14. TSU 23-20 win at Valley. Arkansas Pine Bluff 24-20 over Alcorn. Prairie View in Dallas 28-13 over Grambling. And then Jackson State just went to Baton Rouge and dumped Southern 38-13. Jackson State remains the best team in the SWAC, at least until they face possibly Alabama State. Should be, I believe that's on the docket. All right, everyone. Reminders, of course, in these closing minutes of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break. Support the Roundball Review. If you're a Coog, you can support the Roundball Review by purchasing a Once a Coog, Always a Coog shirt. Scan that different QR code right there on the screen and get you a shirt. It's a light blue, red, black. If you want to be part of the Houston Roundball Review Business Directory, advertise at THEHRR.com Once again, advertise at THEHRR.com. And lastly, some details about the QR code I ask you to scan throughout today's show. The Houston Roundball Review YouTube membership. 2 tiers, all league. The price is $2.99 per month. You get early access to new videos, photos, and status updates, loyalty badges, and emojis. Then the all-world tier costs $4.99 per month, which includes the all-league perks, as well as members-only YouTube shorts, members-only videos, and members-only live streams. And those are launching next week, the live streams, as I have some time off from the new job. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Thank you, as always, to my man AJ Jones for giving me this platform on Thursdays, the lunch break, to share my info with you. Next Thursday's show, October 9th, will be live. Like I said, I'm off next week from the new job. It's planned, so I'm not fired. One of the perks working in the school district. We have fall break, and I have a special guest lined up for next Thursday's Takeover. Spread the word about the Takeover. Subscribe to the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. And always, go Coogs. Be at TDECU Stadium this Saturday. Tailgate. Get there early. Enjoy the game. Root on the Coogs. And always, always, always remember this. Keep this in mind. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name. Global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.